Good morning and welcome to our discussion today on the evolution of enterprise service management. My name is Andy Hall. I'm with RL Canning. I have with me today Kurt Piazza, who leads our ServiceNow practice at RL Canning, and Charlie Betts from Forrester, who is their lead DevOps analyst serving infrastructure and operations professionals globally. Good morning, Kurt. Good morning, Charlie.
Morning.
How are you guys
Morning.
Doing well.
Good. So Kurt, when we talk about enterprise service excellence, what does this typically mean to your clients?
Well, for the most part, I think it's easy to describe the ultimate enterprise service management experience. I mean, there's certainly no shortage of experts who can tell you where you need to be, but the challenge is finding someone to help show you how to get there. So ultimately, I do think that speed, quality, and predictability should be the focus. They are the principles of a modern and well-designed enterprise service management ecosystem. So when the balance is achieved across these principles, cost and risk are significantly reduced throughout the enterprise.
Excellent. Charlie, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. With the rise of DevOps and Agile and overall drivers towards digital transformation, it's more and more important that shared services really up their game. And enterprise service management is a crucial part of improving the shared service experience in enterprises large and small.
Okay, thank you. So that's all interesting, but where do we start and how do we evolve throughout this journey?
Andy, this is how we define it at RLC. We've organized this journey into 4 steps, which all have a direct effect on speed, quality, and predictability, like I mentioned earlier. And so when all your work is visible in a single source and available to everyone, it can be organized, distributed, and executed in a manageable way. We call that being described. And once your work is described and you can apply metrics to drive performance targets, then we would call that measured. So that's step 2. And then although seeing and managing your work now that you've gotten step 1 and 2 done, really isn't quite enough. You definitely need to make your work flow effectively and efficiently. And we call that optimized. And then once you can automate as much as possible and you see problems being resolved before they occur, that's what we call proactive. So those are those 4 steps. So what we found is that companies are at different levels. Some feel they're in a good place wherever they are, and some have a desire to become more mature in some of these areas. So the key is to understand both where you are and where you want to be so the journey can be expressed and executed through a co-created roadmap fit for purpose for your company.
Charlie, any additional comments on this?
I'm glad you asked. I love this slide. I love this vision. And I want to emphasize to the audience that this is not the same old, that this is absolutely different and new, and it's what we've needed for a long time in IT and service management. We have had a tendency to break things down by process. We've got incidents and issues and action items and defects and changes, and we've just stacked up so many different labels for work. And the ESM vision is really about getting this back into a consolidated operational execution framework, because at the end of the day, work is work is work. And when it's fragmented, we've got poor visibility into demand. We have poor visibility into the supply of talent that we need to meet the demand. And we have poor visibility into the point of execution, where those 2 things come together. And what's being articulated here is a new universal solution to actually get us to the next level in service management.
Thank you for your time. We hope you'll join us for our next conversation, where we'll be discussing the first step in our maturity evolution: how to better describe your enterprise service model.